Good afternoon and welcome to the second day of our grid preview. So we did this yesterday for F2 and well, they didn't disappoint with their first race, did it? That was hectic, and I know because I was in it. But yeah, we're back here once again to take a look at this time Tier 3 for tonight. They will kick off their campaign for the season in RSF1. I am RSF1 Michael, also known as Brundle. So welcome along once again, and hopefully you enjoyed the first grid preview of yesterday. And hopefully I can do F3 justice, because this, like last season, I reckon this is going to be, could be one of the tiers to watch this season. It's highly competitive. There are so many names that you could pick out that could potentially win this tier. It's could go any sort of way possible. Now once again, there's a little bit of a heads up. The things that I'm going to say obviously are based on my opinion only, so please don't take it to heart if I don't mention too much of you, or when it comes to the end you're not in my top 5 or whatever. This is just my thought. I could be horribly wrong, but this is just my thoughts. Once again, that's my opinion is based on, and starts a discussion, so we can go from there. But let's start off with Mercedes. Once again, back with they're not the silver arrows anymore, the silver blacks. No, not black arrows. Black arrows it should be called. Anyway, in the Mercedes team for F3, we start off quite an interesting driver, and that is RSF1 Eagle, the runner-up to the F4 championship of last season. By 2 points he missed out on the title. 2 points, and a ridiculous battle that he had with his one-time teammate Prost. Wasn't an Alfa Romeo last season, and this time finds himself in the Mercedes. Could be an interesting season for Eagle. Like Dangerous Dan in F3 going to F2, this guy coming from F4 to F3 could pull a few surprises out. Well, not really surprises, he has the pace. He's a good racer as well, qualifies pretty decently, but his race pace is very strong. It was in F4, and I think because he's missed out on the title by so little, he's going to be revved up to go for the season. So could be one to watch, Mr. Eagle, the Flying Eagle. And he is partnered up with a former teammate of mine, I believe, of WR Stretch. Stretch had a reasonable time in F3 last season, 97 points for his campaign. Again, had a stable championship. Don't think he was on the podium though, so be looking to get back onto the rostrum. Pretty strong Mercedes team. Both reliable. I both expect these two to turn up every week and score points. It's whether they can score highly, and that'll always be the question. But yeah, good strong team in Mercedes. Speaking of a strong team, I'm skipping over Ferrari a little bit to go to Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. My teammates, if you will, because they're driving in the same car as me. And this is a very, very strong team. Talk about Mercedes being a strong team, this is a strong team as well, in my opinion. But the first driver we go to is Ice the Best, and Ice the Best I've known for years now. It seems a very long time, about 6 years I think. And he is a very wise driver, knows his way around a championship, knows what it takes to have a solid campaign in a championship. Struggled a little bit last season in the Renault. He was 77 points for him, and yeah, we'll be eager to get back onto rostrums, wins, and that kind of thing. And I think he can do it this season. He's again gradually getting quicker and quicker week in, week out. So if you can have a good strong start to the season, might be seeing Ice the Best near the top. And his teammate is a very strong teammate in RSF1 Sainz. Now Sainz, at some points was in the title fight, ended up in 4th place in the end with 179 points for Sainz. And many are tipping Sainz to be one of the front runners this season in F3. He, as I mentioned, last season's championship, battling with the likes of Dangerous Dan, Toto Wolff, and his teammate JS Lee, did very well in a tricky race at Vietnam. So again, this season could be the one for him. The only thing is obviously spoke to him recently. He has changed assists, has turned a few of them off. So the biggest question would be is what is he going to be like once the season is well underway? Because he mentioned to me he's turning off no traction, and that is a very difficult assist to change. And the question would be, is he ready? Was he 100% confident to stick with no traction, or is he going to go back to medium traction, which obviously slightly easier, but depends what he thinks. But whether he goes to no traction or medium, I think a very strong driver there, Sainz. So again, could be one to watch. Red Bull, a big, strong favourite for me, or one of the teams, I should say. The next team is the Ferrari team. So this Ferrari team, and as I said at the start of this, F3 is very hard to predict this season. Like last season, there's going to be multiple race winners, I believe. There's going to be the same group of drivers that have consistently been near the top. In terms of race winners, you could have one in every team, basically. But head to Ferrari, and our first driver is VRC Dan, who... Where is VRC Dan? I thought he was in F3 last season. I'm sure he was. Seen him around a couple of times in F3. Has changed his name quite a few times. I think it was Massa, RSF1 Massa previously, if I'm correct. If so, then that's 50 points for him going into from last season. VRC Dan, very, very accomplished driver, has been around leagues quite a lot. So will turn up, will be reliable, which is always what you want to have in a driver in league racing. Yeah, again, could be one to watch going forward in the Ferrari. His teammate is Koala VG. Now, Koala VG was in the Haas last season, so it's a Ferrari engined vehicle for Koala this time. Had a tricky season, 38 points for him, although I do believe he was caught up in a few instances last season along the line. Very, very good in battles, I believe, Koala. So yeah, they could be quite good for Ferrari. Again, like the first two teams, Red Bull, Mercedes, could have the Ferrari mixing it up at the top as well. Next up is the McLaren, the Tango Orange team. And we start off with a driver promoted from F4, same as Eagle, Toxic CW. Now, Toxic CW, the points really he got from last season, 86 in total, doesn't tell the full story, because he had, I think, half a season, which says every reason as to why he's been promoted to F3. Has very good pace, a very, very strong qualifier in F4. So in F3, could see him solid top 5s. Q3 appearances, probably plenty for this guy. In terms of races, again, good racer as well. So again, could be mixing it up with Eagle. I think he'll push Eagle quite close, and I predict Eagle to be near the top of the season, at the end of the season with the championship. So again, could be a strong season for Toxic CW. Obviously, his clan member, MW, we will get to, because he's remained in F4. Partnered with Toxic is Titan Prime. Now, Titan Prime, I believe, is racing his first full season, and showed very good potential in his few races that he did with us in F3 last season. Unfortunately, not much else I can really say about Titan Prime, because I said he's brand new, but that's good, because we can't really be good to see what you can expect. Well, the person I had least information on from F2, RSF1 Cookie, was near the front at the end of that crazy race. So could Titan Prime do the same tonight? We shall see. Next up is the Renault team, and here we come to our first team principal. There are 4 team principals in F3, which makes F3 even more interesting, because as I mentioned yesterday with Muddy Biscuit in F2, team principals have that extra urge to score points for their team. You know, they need to lead by example, and the first of which will be keen to show a big example, and that's RSF1 Shane, who's the team principal of Renault this time. What did Shane do last season? Where are we? There we are. 80 points for Shane in the Racing Point. I feel like he didn't like the Racing Point. That's just the feeling I get from Shane. Of course, we know Shane. He's one of the big admins, the big organisers of RSF1, and has done a very good job, I must say. He also one of the main contributors to making the tiers as they are, and did them last season, and they were very close. So yeah, we all like Shane. We all like Shane, of course we do. In terms of his racing, what can he do this season? Well, has had a bit of bad luck recently, the last couple of seasons. I used to race with him in F2 a couple of seasons ago. Will turn up, of course he will, to every race this season, unless a major difference is that he's not turning up. So that's a good start, obviously. As I mentioned, principal of Renault, he's going to be very, very keen to do well for this team. It's a good car, Renault, so could see Shane a couple wins this season, quite possible. And he's partnered up with, similar to Titan Prime, somebody who's doing his first full season in RSF1, and that is Peachy Pig. Don't let the name fool you, of course, because maybe a comical name to some people, but this is a pretty good driver. Like Titan, showed pretty good promise in the races that he did. Obviously, he needs to get settled into F3 pretty quick, because obviously need to have a good solid start to keep the momentum, to keep the good feelings up. But he's got a strong teammate in Shane, and Shane will do his utmost to make sure Peachy Pig is ready from tonight onwards. So again, Renault could see a lot of the black and yellow car at the front of the seat, front of the back. Next up is the AlphaTauri team, and to our next team principal, who was very, very happy with this car choice that he got, because he stays with the Honda Power, and that is LR Blazer Guns. Now, Blazer Guns had a season really to forget, to be honest, and not his fault really. 13 points in the end. Luck was the big word, or lack of luck was the big word for Blazer Guns this season. He'll be eager and very much motivated to have that change this season. Has a very good car under his belt. Again, Honda Power, so, and having a good car underneath you, behind you, is always a good start to have. And like Shane, he's going to be pushing forward for the AlphaTauri team to score big points. His teammate is Quaker Oats, another F3 driver, had 101 points last season. Don't think won a race, might have won 1 or 2 last season, but he was almost consistently in the points, Quaker Oats. Obviously used to be an F4 front runner 2 seasons ago, and I remember watching him that season in F4 when I commentated on it. Yeah, very good battling driver is Quaker Oats. Maybe needs to sort out the qualifying a little bit, because if I remember rightly, he's not a very good qualifier, but race pace is very good. So if he can, get into Q3 quite a few times this season, Quaker Oats could be having another good strong season as he did last. See what he can do in the AlphaTauri. Next up, Racing Point, and our third team principal, a former team principal of mine. Of course, you would know who it is for those that are well acknowledged in who my team principal was, and that is in fact Camo, or Camo as Raikkonen called it in the driver draw. Obviously history, some people know that I have a love-hate relationship with Camo at the moment. He's a very feisty driver, loves to be competitive. Obviously was F3 champion a couple of seasons ago, had a tricky season last season, 95 points in the Williams, finds himself in another Mercedes power car, this time the pink Banff of Racing Point, and it could be a strong season for Camo. He's motivated to prove to me and many other people that he is still a good front runner in F3, and I still believe he can be. Definitely still believe he can be. Again, there were glimpses last season where he was at the front, tracks that he liked, he did really well at. If he can get a little bit more consistency about it, good strong top 5 finish possibly for Camo at the end of the season. He has partnered up with a very strong driver in Cooper Benz, promoted from F4. Cooper Benz, similar to Toxic CW, to be honest, had half a season and got 93 points, including a win or two down the line. The only thing with Cooper Benz, which is a slight worry, is last season he was superiorly quick in qualifying in the last 4 or 5 races, but the race he had mistakes in and didn't finish the last 4 or 5 races, and he was in Q3 and pole about 3 or 4 times as well. Makes me think that he changed assists in the last part of F4 last season. So the question would be, coming into this season, beginning of F3, has he ironed those out? If he has, could be a strong season for Cooper Benz. Might expect him to see a lot of him in Q3 battling for pole position. Yeah, Racing Point could be the dark horse there, Racing Point. Next up, Alfa Romeo Racing, and our 4th and final team principal, no less than the champion of F4, RS Prost, or he's now called RSF1 Millsy. And yes, beat his former teammate RSF1 Eagle by 2 points in the end, at the end of a very competitive F4 championship in the same car that he won that championship in. So he's well known in this car, the Alfa Romeo, so could be very, very strong going forward for him. He hasn't lost any edge. I don't think he is going to lose any edge in the off season. He'll be ready to go to make the step up in F3, and could be surprises. Could be a dark horse for the Drivers' Championship, quite possible. Depends how his first 5-6 races go, and see how he can go from there. Momentum from that would then be very good. Yeah, RSF1 Millsy, formerly of Prost, in the Alfa Romeo team principal as well. He's taken on that role this season. So yeah, he'll be keen to move a very successful team, because obviously the overall constructors champions at the end of last season. So he'll be very keen to keep that momentum going. He has partnered up with Monster Skyline, who has recently been given the full-time driver seat in F3. And Monster Skyline, I know for many, many years, is very happy that he's got a full-time seat, because he was a reserve, I believe, since this morning or from yesterday. So yeah, very happy he's got a drive, and was in F4 last season, had a strong start to the season, but got into some unfortunate issues with on track, and ended up the season with 130 points, which is very reasonable for Monster Skyline. Yes, he should be quite good going forward. Alfa Romeo, again, could be near the top of F3. Good strong pairing from them two. 2 more teams left. We got the Haas F1 team, and we start off with Quirky Turtle, another driver I very much know little about, actually. because I believe he was a reserve in F3 last season, was very good from what I saw as well. Again, pretty similar to anybody that's doing their first full season. They got to hit the ground running from the get-go, and then basically go from there. You need to have a good strong start, because if you have few points or even no points by round 5, it's always difficult to kind of get that momentum back or try and gain some. So he's got to start off strongly. He is partnered up with RSF1 Kachal, who I know obviously a little bit more about. In the Renault last season, 90 points for Kachal in the end in F3, so remains in F3 this season. And Kachal, again, good solid campaign, although I think he himself wanted more out of it. Is familiar to quite a few of the drivers in F3, so he knows who to give more space to, I guess, and who to battle strongly with. And he'll be looking to get on the rostrum on a consistent basis. Again, tracks that he liked, he was third, second, sometimes a win as well. I think he got 1 or 2 wins possibly. I could be wrong with that, but yeah, should be quite good for Kachal in the Haas team. And last but not least, we end with the Williams Racing team, and like many teams, there's a good 5 or 6 here in F3 that could be dark horses. I mean, some, including myself, have, like, if you think about it, maybe a potential winner, but it's going to be a very close team, because this team consists of RSF1 Falcon, first off, to begin with. And Falcon, very popular driver, has a lot of followers behind him, and justified as well, because he is a very exciting driver to watch. Pulls off pretty good overtakes, and in terms of results, 103 points last season. Again, now was kind of overshadowed by the fact that obviously you had the title fight with Dan, Turtle Wolf, Lee, and Sainz there. Falcon always seems to be there, and will be looking to continue on that, get a few race wins under his belt. Again, with those that finished above him now gone into F2 and so on, could that open it up for him? Possibly. Little feeling that he might. And his teammate is a very strong teammate in RSF1 Maniac, 117 points for Maniac, so finished very close to Falcon in the F3 Championship. And these two, I think, will have chemistry. They seem to know each other. Whenever they battled with each other, and they were quite close in F3 last season, they gave each other respect. So I feel like this is a team that, in terms of chemistry, was always good to have in a league racing teammate. Yeah, they could do quite well for themselves. And that is it. That is your teams for Division 3. Yeah, a very competitive grid. This is going to be a good watch for F3 this season. It was last season, and I think they can carry it on for F3 as arguably one of the most exciting tiers to watch. I mean, they're all exciting, let's be honest. Yeah, very good battles ahead, I believe. And in terms of the drivers and the constructors, it's an open playing field, to be honest. As of yesterday, same as yesterday, I will do my top 5 drivers and top 3 teams, but it's anyone's. It really is anyone's. It's going to be great for me to watch it. I am commentating tonight with Stygian. Stygian is going to be streaming for the first time tonight, and yeah, he's eager to go, and I'm very happy and I trust that Stygian will do a very good job. He'll be normally partnered with Vettel SF71, but Vettel did last night, so I'm giving him the break, so he doesn't do 2 in a row. So I'm in the co-coms role tonight, and should be a fun watch. I mean, if F2 is anything to go by, F3 should be just as exciting, so let's see who can take it. But in terms of my top 5 drivers and top 3 teams, let's begin with 5th place. So 5th place, I've put an Alpha Tauri driver. Which one could it be? Blazer or Quaker Oats? I have gone with Quaker Oats, and simply because, as I mentioned, had a very solid season in F3 last season. Obviously with the drivers ahead of him, going up to F2 and so on, they could open it up for him. Showed that he was in the points solidly, Quaker Oats. If he can take it to wins, potentially could be a strong top 5 finish. 5th place for them, I have put. 4th place, I'm going to put Eyes the Best of Red Bull. And mainly being because, as I know him. He's a very wise driver, very good caliber of driver. Will keep himself out of trouble, will score points when he needs to, knows about a championship. And I think 4th place, he will take that. Will be a better showing than last season. But again, last season had a bit of unfortunate instances in there, not his own doing. 3rd place, I've put the Ferrari of VRC Dan in there. Again, these top 5, like I mentioned yesterday, could be mixed around in any sort of order. It's just where I happen to put them at this time of thinking. And VRC Dan, yeah, has showed the pace again that you need in league racing, and I think if you can again stable that up, be consistent, he's a good qualifier. Races sometimes seem to fall away a little bit, but I reckon now that he's got that last season underway, this season could be strong for him, and he could use that Ferrari that he's got to push forward. 2nd place, I have put away to the Williams of RSF1 Falcon. Flying Falcon, yes, in 2nd place I have put him. Yeah, pretty much similar to VRC Dan, Eyes the Best and Quaker Oats. Now that it's opened up at the top, this could open it up for him. It opens it up for everyone else. I mean, even there's people outside these 5 I've put that could very easily win it. Falcon though has that little bit of an edge for me. The good overtakes, as I mentioned, that he does, the popularity that he has. It's good to have popularity behind you, makes you push a little bit more. So yeah, he could use that. I think he will run who I've put first very, very close, and I think it'll be close to 3rd, 4th and 5th as well. I expect F3 actually to go to the final race. I don't really see a complete proper front runner, but the person I have put winning F3, in my opinion, I may be biased, let me sound biased, but I have put RSF1 Sainz as it. Many people's pick for the top of F3 to being in and amongst the top end of the championship, and I believe he will be first. So that's what my thought is. Again, like what I said earlier, it depends whether he's comfortable with the assist that he eventually decides to use, because at the moment he's debating whether he goes on no traction or medium traction. Both will see him near the front, my thought is, but again, no, does he still have that drive? I know he does, but other people will say, does he still have the drive to continue fighting for the season, especially after last season? Or is he going to see this as a great opportunity now that the 3 ahead of him, because he finished in 4th last season? Can he get that top spot? I'm pretty sure we'll see, but that's where I've put Sainz on the top. As for constructors, we'll start off with 3rd place, and 3rd place I'm going to put the Racing Point of Camo and Cooper Benz. I know these two very well from last season, both in the Williams of last season, so again, they will know each other as well. And good teams has to start with people that you know from the get-go, that you can discuss strategies, help each other with setups, push each other both forward. And 3rd place, I think, would be a very respectable result for these two. couple of wins between them, maybe even more than that. Yeah, be seeing a lot of the Pink Panthers up at the top, I believe, especially in qualifying. Can they convert those to race results? Second place, I put the Ferrari team of VRC Dan and Koala. Mainly because I put VRC Dan in third place, but that's not to count Koala VG out. I know that Koala had a difficult season last season in F3, but now he knows what F3 is all about. He can use that and push the team forward. They're going to have to get a few wins, similar to Racing Point, but I'm pretty sure they can. And they'll be very close to who I've put first. And my bias has come through again because I put Red Bull atop. I just see the two of Eyes the best in science. If they can stay out of trouble all this season, I think they could do bits in F3. And again, that's just my personal thought about it, but I just feel if they can do points in, points week in, week out, they can do it. They can do it. I believe they can, but they got to do it at the end of the day. It's all belief. Belief is all good to have, but you still got to do it. That is my tip for constructors. Racing Point third, Ferrari second, and Red Bull first. But could be anything. Could be absolutely anything. I feel kind of jealous for Stygian and Vettel for this season because they're going to enjoy themselves in the gun box. I'm pretty sure they will. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. And that is F3. So later tonight is going to be the Australian Grand Prix like last night. So F3 can show what they can do for this season around Albert Park, Australia. 8 o'clock tonight. As I mentioned, Stygian in the comms box streaming for the first time alongside myself as a co-com role. So I'll be assisting Stygian as he provides you the action for tonight. Make sure you join us. But until then, take care. And I will see you tomorrow for the F1 preview. That will be an interesting one to go for. So until then, take care and see you later tonight.